In this video, we're going to make the linkage that drives the wheels. On the blueprint, there's most of it there. There are some pieces missing because I couldn't find an explicit reference, but what we're going to do is make some of these pieces using the line tools as we did earlier. So let's get started. We'll go to Create Panel, Shapes, Rectangle. I'm going to start with this piece right here. I'm going to just drag out a rectangle, hit F3 if you need to. There we go. Do some corner radius. Let's do it all the way till it's like a pill shape, oblong, ovalish. Right click, convert it to editable spline. And again, you have two verts here on each end, so we have to fuse and weld those so we'll get a good result when we extrude. Fuse, then weld. Same at the bottom, fuse, weld. There we go. And we're going to get the move. We have move selected, the move tool, and just pull these in. And do the same on the other side. Okay. And we can adjust the handles as we go. Pull that in a little bit, just like that. Okay, that looks good. So now I'm going to get a circle and create the little opening up top. Just like that. I'm using F3 to toggle the visibility. It's just the blueprint sometimes, at least with my video card, is interfering with what I'm seeing. So just toggle it back and forth with the F3 key and get a different view. Let's hit R for radius and shrink this down and move it a little bit. W for move. Okay. Just like that. Let's grab this and we'll attach the other two splines so it's all one piece. Attach and attach both circles. Okay. And now we're going to use a bevel modifier instead of an extrude. And I'm going to go to perspective viewport with the P key. Let's Alt and Q to isolate this shape. Just takes a second. There we go. And let's roll down with the bevel. And let's right click out the values a bit, just so we can start from scratch. Height 0.25. Let's make it 0.5. That looks better. And height 2. Let's do this one, 0.25. Let's just bevel that inward. Oop. Just like that. F4. Let's half that value to 0.2. You might need to type that in. And that looks pretty good. And you can see here we have that sharp line. If we go to these verts, make them Bezier, they were Bezier corner. It's probably the same on the other side. There we go. Let's try that again. And you see now it looks a little cleaner. So that's good. That's one of the shapes. And we're going to repeat this for every shape in the linkage. I'll make some of the arms and then later on you'll finish by yourself. If you're going to animate, you'll probably need to do some research on how these linkages work. For now, I'm just trying to show you how to model it, so it may not be perfect when I'm done. Let's give this a name. Pivot underscore linkage dash 01. Okay, we can exit isolation. And let's go to left viewport. And next piece we're going to do is there's a long arm actually that comes from this link forward to about where that arm ends, which is this gray circular shape we made on the front. So what we're going to do is make a rectangle. I'm going to do it down here straight on just like this. F3 so I can see what's going on. Okay, that's perfect. And now let's get out of the splines. We're going to get a circle object and we're going to drag one off at each end, a little bigger than the rectangle, just like that. Let's copy that. So shift with your move tool, shift and drag this to the other end. And say OK. And now let's select the rectangle, right click it in the stack, convert to editable spline, and let's attach these two circles just like that. Turn off attach. Let's come up here, expand the editable spline. Let's go to spline and select the rectangle and go down to booleans and let's attach or union both ends just like that. Turn off the boolean and let's also add two more circles for the openings where the pins come through this. So we're just gonna get an approximate center, pull just like that, and I'm gonna shift and drag that to the other end, just like that. And now let's select the original piece and attach these two circles to it. So we attach, just like that. Let's add an extrude, no, not an extrude, let's try a bevel again. Go to perspective, and I think we should have the same settings we used on the last piece of linkage, and we do. So let's just pull that a little forward, and let's move it this way, just like that. Let's go left viewport. I want to make sure that the circles here are lined up so that a pin would fit through there. And I'm going to do something different. We're going to take the effect pivot in hierarchy, and we're going to just drag the gizmo to the center of this circle. F3 if you need to see a little better. That's approximately the center. And now when I rotate, that will be the point of origin that we rotate from. So I'm just going to do this, and you can see it keeps it in position, which is exactly what we want. And then I'm just going to shorten this just a touch by moving this vertex selection down just like that. I made down this way a little bit, and there we go. Okay, so now what you could do is you can take this, we'll call this drive underscore linkage show one. We can copy this object if we want. Just shift drag it by shift and move the gizmo. There we go, as a copy. And we can repurpose this a little bit. I'm gonna have to scale it and things, so I did it as a copy so that we would be able to change it. Let's move it up, move it back a little bit, and we're going to scale that as well. That looks good. And move it again. Okay, so you see it was simple. Once we have that one piece, we can repurpose it a little bit. Another one is a copy. Let's rotate it. E for rotate if you want to use that. And R for scale, we're going to scale it down. And W, we'll move it over here. And let's just line it up. And you see I scaled it uniformly, so it needs to be scaled on a couple of different axes to get it back to the right size. Let's go perspective, zoom. Okay, and let's do this. Oops, sorry. I'm going to move it down a little bit. Move it forward, just like that. And then we'll just grab this vertex selection and move it to where it should be. Left viewport, so I can see where it is and that everything is straight. It's just finessing pieces. It's not a big deal. Just like that. Okay, so you see we're building all this linkage pretty quickly. And what you can do is you can grab the center pin from the wheels. Let's grab all these pieces right now. I'm control clicking to select them all. I'm going to unhide all so that we can see where these are. No. And then I'm going to move them out with the move tool out so I can see that they're out here somewhere where they should be. This one should be back a little bit. Probably like close to the surface of the wheel, which may mean that we need to adjust our little opening, this piece we made earlier. Okay. Left viewport. And that looks good. Now we're going to grab that. Let's grab the blueprint. Right there. Alt and Q. Okay. There's some bigger pieces back here. So we'll make one or two, and then once that's done, I'll leave you to do the rest by yourself. We'll make a couple other pieces that guide them later in another video. So let's go to rectangle. And I'm just going to pull out a rectangle right there. F3 if you need to see a little better. Okay, and circle. Same process we used on the others. Just like that. Another rectangle. Looks like it's a little bigger right here. That looks good. And then we have this little cross piece. And we're going to do the same technique where we boolean in the end. So let's grab the rectangle, the big one. Convert to editable spline by right-clicking, editable spline from the list. And let's attach all these other pieces. Just like that. Turn that off. Let's go down to boolean, union, and expand the edit spline. We'll go to spline and start to boolean. So let's do this one, that one. Turn off the boolean. We can go to vertex selection. Let's grab these four. Excuse me, and we'll fillet them. Let's try to do it first by left-clicking and dragging the mouse. I like that right there is perfect. And I think that's good. Okay, F3. That looks good. Now let's get a circle again. So create panel, shapes, circle. And let's do one here. And let's just copy that. Let's make sure it's looks by eye line to the middle of this piece. And let's shift and drag it down this way as a copy, F3. Oops, sorry. And here we go. Align it to the blueprint. Let's shift and drag it to copy again. Okay. There we go. And that looks good. So now we'll take the outer spline and we'll attach the other two parts, or three parts, the circles. So let's go attach. 1, 2, and 3. Turn off attach. Add a bevel. Hit B in your modifier list. And there's bevel. P for perspective. I think these bigger pieces should have a bit more thickness. So we're going to do 0.75 on the top. Let's go even bigger. Let's go 1. I'm going to just roll that up by hand. That looks better. Okay, that should have some substance to it. So that's a good piece. Let's call that drive link large 01. Okay, and we're going to make another piece that goes behind. I might be able to just copy this one and flip it around. So let's try that first. I'm going to make it a copy. Oop. Let's shift with the move tool, drag it out to the side as a copy. Let's mirror it along the Y, just like that. Align it so that the two circular openings are overlapping, and let's just push it either backwards or forwards. I think back is good in this case. And I'm going to grab some of the verts. F3 so you can see a little better. That looks good. And because it's a copy, I'm going to go to left viewport. We need a little rectangular piece that shoots off the side. So we'll turn off bevel. Go to create shapes, rectangle. F3 so we can see what we're doing. And let's just make a rectangle right there. Just like that. Okay, grab that spline, and let's do the Boolean once again. First attach that spline by going to attach, click on it, and now we will use the Boolean by going to spline, click on the spline, Boolean, and there we go. And now if we go to perspective again, it's a little off. So what we need to do is adjust, the rectangle is a little ahead of the area where the spline was when we moved it. So top viewport, it's a simple fix. Let's just move these back. And let's right click and convert them to corner for now. P for perspective, and let's see how that looks. That looks better. And there we go. Okay, so now you have most of the linkage set up. There are a couple bigger pieces. We're going to do them in the next video. And I'm going to pause the video now.